right. How are you? Wow. Beautiful. You are looking so beautiful, Vivian.
So are you.
Yes, and today I'm sitting on the seat of Kweku.
Yeah.
And not too far. It feels different.
It does it.
Yes, very, very different.
Well, good to be here and good
Yes.
to be having this chat with you.
I know, right?
Looking forward to that.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Vivian Kailoko is here with us, and she's the head of news at ChannelOne TV and City FM. And it's time for us to check out the news review, what we have on the papers.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you permit me, I'll start with the Daily Guide.
Yeah.
And they have some troubling story, but a positive for our security. Police bust notorious car thieves, over 100,000 Ghana card applicants under probe. That's another story. Then also government bans grain export, and Nana cuts sword for Accra Tema Motorway project. And we have achieved more than you, Baumia, Japs, Mahama. So this is on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. If you go to the Daily Guide, rather, if you go to the back of the paper, it has Ket addresses GFA Congress today. Our sports team will bring us details of that story in our bulletins.
Okay, I have the daily graphic here. We have President inaugurates Tema Motorway School Junction Road project, and effects of Galamsey risks of cleft lift rises and drought. Government outlines 8 billion Ghana cedis agri support, provide 1,000 Ghana cedis per hectare incentives to farmers. Multi-billion city roads initiative launched in Tamale. And behind it we have stalled Labani SHS project turns heaven for miscreants. Digital transformation drive, focus on ICT week celebration.
Okay, the Chronicle, Chris, has some more stories on the things government is going to do to deal with the food crisis we are likely to see because of the dry spell up north. So it says government mobilizing $500 million to address food crisis. Still on the Chronicle, Akosombo breaks ground for 10-lane concrete Accra Tema Motorway project. And then the Chronicle also has the story of the robbers who've been busted. They say police smoke out East Legon robbers through intelligence-led operations. iPhone, Mercedes-Benz, and Fortuna. So I'm sure they've been tormenting people, and I'm happy the police have arrested them.
And on the front page of the New Republic, we have cash for ghost scandal rocks GTDC. CEO blows 500K Ghana cedis on girlfriend with a cooked deal. And we have 20K Ghana cedis bribed allegation hits Bahomia's camp. Flag bearers team accused of fixing media encounter censor scrutiny. Twitter scum erupts over Bahomia's missteps, and political meddling sparks financial turmoil in Petroleum Commission. NDC flag bearer warns of democracy erosion. Yeah. Okay,
let me take you to the Ghanaian Times. On the front page, they have a picture of President Akosombo commissioning the reconstruction of the motorway, and it says government begins Tema Motorway reconstruction. Project to cost $350 million, expected to be completed in 36 months. Still with the Ghanaian Times, Yana hails government for dedication towards improving road infrastructure in the northern region. And then Akosombo Dam spillage, 200 million Ghana cedis released for resettlement project. And then looming food crisis, grains export banned due to prolonged dry spell in 8 regions. If you come to the back page of the Ghanaian Times, birth defects linked to heavy metals chemicals used in Galamsey. The CEO of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Ampoma, is speaking. So, Chris, we have a big problem. The Galamsey issue is now showing in the children we give birth to. So, very troubling development over there.
And my last paper here is the Hawk newspaper. Ghanaians in UK fall victim to rising stabbings. And the big one here is Council of State member, NPP chiefs in 60 million Ghana cedis bus levy heist. And customs boss chops informants 245K Ghana cedis. NDC unveils pension plan for informal workers.
Okay. The Economy Times says city likely to depreciate further. I know you'll be sad about this because you've been complaining about. I think this morning yourself and Jiva, we were talking about the city depreciating against the dollar too much. It's now at almost 16 cities.
Right.
And then also macroeconomic indicators to worsen in Ghana, Nigeria through to 2024. This is the audit firm Deloitte speaking over there. And finally, on the front page of the Economy Times, Cocoa Board disclaims minority statement that the board has lost financial credibility. So those are from me. I think we can do Channel One and then City if you have them. Okay, let me do Channel One news, then you do City newsroom. So on Channel One, we have a Ablakwa slams Brian Echampo Akufo-Addo for undemocratic election rhetoric. Still with ChannelOneNews.com, Ablakwa condemns government's insensitivity towards Akosombo Dam spillage victims. He was speaking on the point of view with Selim Adonu. Still with Channel One News, we have drought. Over 920,000 farmers, close to 1 million farmers, to lose 7.4 billion Ghana cedis if crops fail. This is according to the Agric Minister Brian Champo. And then still with the issue of the drought, Northern Ghana drought poses severe threat to economic growth. This is Finance Minister Amin Adams speaking. And finally, on the issue of the drought, we have Brian Echampo announces ban on exportation of grain. So this is from ChannelOneNews.com.
Right, and if we head to citynewsroom.com, we have voting for Mahama will reverse Ghana's progress, and that's from President Nana Akufo-Addo. And top trending stories, security forces to be deployed at borders to prevent grain smuggling. And we have Akufo-Addo cuts sword for Accra Tema Motorway expansion project. Ghana may face forex pressure if food imports become necessary, and that's by Amin Adams. Election 2024, Mahama to begin Greater Accra campaign tour on Tuesday. And we have some other stories here. Bawumia promises funding for traders and SMEs. Akufo-Addo deceived God. Clergy over national cathedral funding. And that's by Ablakwa. Election 2024. Reject Bawumia over unfulfilled 2020 promises. And that's by Asiedu Nketia. Ablakwa slams government for failing to aid Akosombo's dam victims. State capture, corruption under Akufo-Addo's government unprecedented. Still, Ablakwa asserting government allocates 8 billion Ghana cedis to tackle droughts in northern Ghana. Northern Ghana droughts, our economic growth trajectory in danger, by Amin Adams.
Okay, so Chris, if you permit me, I'll give you some details of some of the stories. I'll start with the government banning grain export because of the dry spell and the drought. And so if you go to the daily guide on page 6 of the paper, it says the government has placed an immediate ban on grain export to help address dry spells that have led to the disruption of crop production in 8 regions of the country. The 8 regions include the Northern, Upper East, Northeast, Savannah, Upper West, Bono East, and Oti regions. Now, the farming communities in the last 2 months have not had rainfall, which has severely impacted the planting season in many areas. The Minister of Food and Agriculture, Brian Echampo, who announced the ban at the Ministry of Information's Meet the Press and series in Accra yesterday, said as a result of the spell, crops that were sown in anticipation of the rains have been left struggling without sufficient moisture. So we've been, covering this story for a bit. And if you look at the farms, all the crops have withered away because there's been no, water. And I think we have a big problem. Why that for all these years we're still relying on the rain for agriculture when we could have gone full throttle with irrigation. And we're still struggling for how many years? So I think the Agric Ministry has a lot of work to do. Because it's obvious that because of the climate change, we'll be seeing these kind of weather patterns. But who is ensuring that when it happens, our farmers still can do the work, citizens can still have the food, So this is a big issue that needs to be dealt with properly.
Yeah, and you know, what actually even makes it worse is the ripple effect that it has on everybody's life. First of all, you think it only concerns the farmers,
Yeah.
but it goes down to even affect us because the prices of everything
It's
will
gonna
be
go to
high.
the roof.
And also yesterday, it was announced that there was ban on exportation.
Yeah.
So now I'm asking myself, so the farmers that already have produce for exports, how would they feel? Would the government buy from them
They
the
have
price
to
that
buy
they
from
sell?
them. They have to, because we can't export to be able to feed us. Because if they attempt to export, there'll be serious shortage.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be shortage, but if we allow the exports, it's going to worsen. But there's an issue of smuggling as well.
Sure.
There's an issue of hoarding. If the price they offer them is not good enough, because now if I know that you're in need of corn, and it's become very, you know, hard to get, I'm
Yes,
going to increase my
exactly.
price because, you know, the economies of scale. So we need to decide how much we're going to buy for a bag of, you know, corn, for example,
Right.
and then close all the unapproved routes to ensure that
Right.
farmers don't take it out of Ghana.
Yes.
You know, the issue with cocoa, some farmers take it out of Ghana because the price they claim being offered here is not good enough. So as for the corn, sorghum, whatever, it will be easier to do. So there's a lot of work to do to close unapproved routes, to ensure there's no export, to ensure that the prices are good, to make the farmers want to sell to, you know, government.
Right. But do you think banning of importation would have helped them realize that, okay, we need what we have? We need our own plants. Maybe if that was there, we would have had the idea of irrigation.
Yeah. I think sometimes officials fail to think through for the future.
Wow.
How many times haven't we spoken about dealing with irrigation in agriculture? I mean, everybody knows we need to, you know, expand our irrigation, you know, prowess. But who is ensuring that this is done? I was listening to the breakfast show, I think, last week. They spoke to the man in charge of irrigation, and he said we've done about, is it 16,000 or so kilometers out of 1 million that we need to cover. I mean, hectares.
Yeah.
And so we have a long way to go. But they say it's very expensive to do irrigation, but that can't be our excuse.
Yeah, but you know, if it's expensive, probably that's why the farmers are not going into it.
Yeah.
So maybe the government needs to come
It's
to
the
their aid at
government
this
that
point,
has
because
to.
at the end of the day, they feed us.
Yeah. It's the government that has to, you know, put in some money or subsidize it for the farmers, you know, find a way around it. So let's see how this goes. You want to take us through some of the
I have one here. Effects of galamsey, risk of cleft lips rises. Health experts have warned that Ghana risks having more children being born with cleft lip and palate, as heavy metals used in illegal mining have polluted many drinking water sources. The CEO of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Opokuwari Ampoma, who sounded the warning, explained that substances from galamsey activities have contaminated many water bodies, pointing out that such substances could cause birth defects. Addressing the news conference organized by Operation Smile Ghana, an international medical charity in Accra last Thursday to mark Cleft Awareness Week, Dr. Ampoma called for the necessary steps to ensure that water bodies and food sources in the country stayed free from such contamination.
This is sad and troubling. And this galamsey thing, I'm not sure it's going to go away anytime soon. Because most of these youth say they don't have jobs. This is it's become their means of survival. And the authorities are also struggling to deal with it. We've had soldiers go there, nothing has come out of it. We've had the police go there, nothing has. We have chiefs stepping in, nothing has gone. We've had the president himself organizing some, you know, initiatives, nothing has happened. So Chris, we're in big trouble.
So do you think if there were jobs available in those areas, this will stop? Or it's something that they are now used to?
Yeah.
It's very
because, you know, if you are able to get the gold and sell, the profits will be much higher than probably a white-collar job or, you know, a job that is not all that. So now they've gotten used to it. How do we now regulate it properly so we don't destroy our water bodies? If you look at the manifestos of the two parties, there's a lot of questions for them to answer on how they intend to really deal with Galamsey.
Yes.
Because I think Mahama said he's going to get them out of the place, those who are destroying the forest.
But it's not as easy as that,
It's
because
not
so many
as
have
easy.
tried. So many have tried.
So whoever wins has a lot of work to do with this Galamsey matter. Okay, Chris, let me bring you the story of the police smoking out East Legon robbers. You live at East Legon, right? So this is good news for you because these people were operating. So the Police Intelligence Directorate, PID, of the Ghana Police Service has arrested 30-year-old suspect Isaac Brenya Ishan for alleged robbery. He was arrested on August 21st, 2024, following an intelligence-led operation launched on August 19, 2024, after a robbery incident in East Legon, a police source has told the Chronicle. Now, 2 victims had been robbed at gunpoint in front of their home, losing a Mercedes-Benz C180, 2 iPhones, AirPods, and an unspecified amount of money. According to the source, the police retrieved an iPhone 13 Pro Max belonging to one of the victims, along with a Samsung Galaxy A15 from the suspect. The Chronicle was further informed that during interrogation, Ishan revealed that his accomplice was 47-year-old Peter Amuzu, who, also known as Master P, an ex-convict recently released from Insawam prisons after serving time for a similar offense. So this guy is back on the, roads, and he didn't even waste time on the streets.
And he went back again.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But I'm happy the police have arrested them. Right.
All right, so on the New Republic, this is a very interesting one that I also saw on CNR. 2024 WASI, Laboni SHS candidates barred from writing social studies paper due to lateness. So 7 students of Laboni Senior High School were prevented from taking part in the exam for arriving late for the scheduled paper on August 26th. The situation unfolded as officials of the WASI WAEC conducted routine monitoring with headmistress Rebecca Akolo, echoing sentiments similar to those expressed by her counterpart at Osu Presbyterian Senior School. Some of the affected students cited various reasons for being late. One student reported being delayed by traffic, while another explained that he had been on his way to the hospital due to illness. Unfortunately, his vehicle broke down en route, forcing him to abandon his hospital visit in order to reach the exam hall, yet he arrived late.
Hey, when we're all writing our exams, when we're kids, you are in a hurry to get to the exam
Exactly.
hall. Because if you get there late, you'll be turned away. These days, Charlie, it's a Gen Z, so whatever you call them, they are in their own world. Too. I mean, what is this? And their excuses are not, any strong excuses.
Yeah. But this morning, Jiffa and I were talking about it while watching it. And another angle also arise while we're talking about it. What about people or students that do not live with their parents but live with people that have to wake up early in the morning?
Yeah.
Those kind of families that you have to do everything for everyone before you go to school.
Yeah. But the authorities in your school should know your problems. I mean, if you've taught this child for years, let's say this pupil started school from class 1 and they've got into JHS or SS, you should know by now the kind of child, their background, everything, to know that Vivian, for example, she's dealing with their own issues, she'll come late, and then make room for or deal with it. But this excuse of somebody said they were going to the hospital and decided
their
that
stomach,
they will, another said traffic. And your route is traffic prone. Leave home early, because some of the students, they were barred totally from writing
yes,
because their excuses were not good enough. So I hope they've learned their lessons and today they get there early and write their paper. Okay, so let me take you to the Ghanaian Times, a story about the Akosombo Dam spillage and government releasing some 200 million Ghana cedis for resettlement projects. Now, the paper says the government has made available 200 million Ghana cedis for the resettlement of households in the northern areas of the Volta region affected by spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Now, totaling 2,803 houses, the construction and resettlement of the affected persons in the north, 1,218, south, 650, and central, 935 districts in the first phase of the resettlement plan post the dam spillage. Now, the Director of Works at the Ministry of Works and Housing, Mark Tete, who disclosed this in Accra yesterday, said additional 61 million Ghana cedis would be needed to complete the first phase. So we still have our brothers and sisters in some of the regions that got hit by the spillage still not having, you know, a place to lay their heads.
Exactly.
And I don't know why it's taking government so long to deal with the resettlement project. I mean, if City hadn't done the resettlement project for some of the areas, we would have said that, okay, it's difficult for the government, but private sector and a private organization has been able to do it. And the government, Zogboro, is still suffering.
It's still
or
suffering.
Struggling.
And you know, my problem is, at least start something. Why are you asking for more money when you've not started anything? At least start something. At least build a bachelor. Something. Let's see that you've done something. Instead of the whole talking.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Right. So still on the New Republic, we have Twitter scorn erupts over Bawumia's missteps. Vice President Muhammadu Buhari faced heavy criticism on Sunday, August 25th, 2024, following a media engagement intended to bolster his public image, but instead became a comical misstep. The public relations disaster unfolded as the Vice President admitted his lack of knowledge about crucial national matters, including the crisis facing cocoa bud, and stumbled through responses to questions sparkling outrage among Ghanaians and inciting a barrage of ridicule on social media platforms. Critics and citizens did not hold back, with the many labeling the Vice President as inept and unfit for his role. From scanting Facebook posts to fiery Twitter threads and WhatsApp messages, Ghanaians expressed their disappointment and frustrations toward Muhammadu Buhari, who is slated as the ruling National Patriotic Party's 2024 flag bearer, with particularly vehement criticism appearing on Twitter.
Okay.
Well, and this was on Sunday, and Twitter was really on fire. Twitter was really on fire.
Say all sorts.
They said all sorts. They were not satisfied.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just pray people that he's working with, especially his media relations, are actually watching. Because there are some things that he said that he didn't really say.
You didn't think he
well.
answered the questions properly, or
Yes.
some of his statements
No, some
were
of the
not...
statements. Some of the statements, like I think the most popular statement that got everybody raging, apart from the cocoa bud issue, was the one he said, if I do everything, now what am I going to do when I come in power?
Well, the spokesperson for his campaign team, Dennis Miracle, during the event, I think it was TV3 that, you know, put it out, came back to tell TV3 to take it or add the smiley emoji because the Vice President was just playing. So that's the response for you for that.
The smiley emoji changes everything. It changes the context. So if there was an angry emoji, we know that he was serious.
He was serious because he was just playing. I mean, I think he should have avoided that statement.
He should have.
Because whichever way, you know, people will take it wrongly.
True.
So he should have avoided it.
And then we are also in a period where everybody seems to be on their toes. Everybody also wants to know what you are offering. Because the elections are near. And apart from the elections being near, we know that there are a lot of people who are actually not happy and disappointed and wish for better. So maybe if you were going to give them hope, that must have, you know,
I mean, election period from now till we cast our, you know, ballots, politicians have to be careful what you say. Because this is a serious period where people will vote for or against you based on what you say, based on what you do. So it's a very, you know, a serious period for you to be careful about your utterances, or else you get yourself into trouble. Anyway, I'll take leave of you, but let me quickly go through some of the stories on CT Newsroom. Voting for Mahama will reverse Ghana's progress. Akufo-Addo speaking over there. And then Akufo-Addo deceived God clergy over National Cathedral funding. This is a Blakwa speaking. And finally, Baumia promises funding for traders and SMEs.
Right. Okay. So I guess that's what we have.
Yes, ma'am.
For the news review segment. Thank you so much, Vivian. It was
Thank
really
you.
nice doing this with you. And it feels different doing this, actually, because I've never
Yes.
done this before.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Oh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have for the news review segment. And we want to say a very big thank you to Vivian Kailoko, who is the head of news right here at Channel One TV and City FM. It's time for us to get into sports.
Welcome back. Now let's do some sports stories right here on Breakfast Daily. The main season of the 30th Ordinary Congress of the GFA will come off at the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence in Pampram today. The session will dominate the second day of Congress. GFA President Keto Kweku is expected to give updates on various GFA projects and initiatives, such as the association's plan to fix the fundamentals of the Ghana football. He will do this with reference to the last Congress that was held in Kumasi in July 2023.
All right, still on football, former England manager Sven Goran Eriksson died yesterday at the age of 76. The Swede manager managed England between 2001 and 2006 and guided them to the quarterfinals of 3 major international tournaments in that spell. Eriksson has been battling with cancer, and in January this year, he was given a year to live by doctors. He spent the last few months getting invited by several of his former clubs, including Roma in Italy, as a way of honoring him. Eriksson managed 12 clubs across Europe, where he won 18 titles and also coached the Philippines, Cote d'Ivoire, and the Mexican national teams. Wow, may his soul rest in peace. All right, so that's what we have for sports.